Do you like movies, comic books, science fiction, and more? Then you come to the right place. This is the Rebel Radio Podcast. You can find us at therebelradiopodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and join our Patreon for just $2 a month where you get exclusive episodes. Thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Welcome to a new episode of the Rebel Radio Podcast. This is Mark and his fucked up voice still.
This is Matt.
This is Long, the 00 agent.
Yes.
I sound like I could be a Bond villain with my voice.
Yes.
I've been like this for like over a month, man. It sucks.
If you
Scratchy throat.
No, if you quit deep throating Matt D, and you probably stop having that scratchy throat.
I'm not going to say anything. That's we have women listeners, so I'm not going to say anything like maybe I need pussy or something. Maybe that'll cure,
pussy.
Maybe that'll cure it. But,
damn.
Yeah, so this show started out of winter.
Yeah, awkward. I get a little awkward.
Thanks, Long.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You know,
I aim to please.
I know Matt's business has been under the weather the last few weeks, and but I hope he's not that desperate. Goddamn.
No, definitely not.
So we'll send the old friend of the show Frank your way, Matt, if you really need some help.
That's okay. That's okay. I'd decline.
He can rub his manly beard all over you.
No.
Anyway, I was trying to just take it one step too far. But
You have succeeded.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So how are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
You getting ready for Turkey Day, I guess?
I'm not.
No.
No.
Nope. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm at that point. I'm ready. I could skip Thanksgiving. Let's just get to Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes, because 2020 needs to be fucking over with. God damn it.
Yes, but if we thought 2019 was bad.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not saying that things are looking perfectly upward in 21, but at this point, a change of the calendar is fucking welcome. So, yeah.
Put the year behind us.
Yes. And move onward and forward. And hopefully things are getting better. Hopefully we'll be able to go to the movies, possibly Palooza. So we just have to be hopeful for what's coming and wait and continue to wait this thing out. So, I'm actually doing good too. I mean, I fought that little head cold, but my voice is still fucked up, and who knows? Maybe I'm just being honest. Maybe I had COVID and I didn't know it, and now it's affecting my lungs and my voice. It could be, because not everybody knows they have this thing if they get it. Some people have very mild symptoms, So,
Yeah.
who knows? Because I feel fine. My voice is fucked up. So, I'll let you guys do more of the talking.
Yes. Save what voice you have left.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, I mean, we can get into download this if we're ready to get into the juicy stuff that we've watched today for sure.
Juicy? I mean,
Yeah.
If you're watching some porn, I mean, that's your business. I mean,
No, not. I mean, juicy is just a term of endearment.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. Well,
But
maybe I have
go ahead.
I have other things in my mind.
I will start because I watched a lot, and I wanted to watch more of the Connery Bonds because I've only seen like a couple Connery Bonds, so I wanted to kind of just get a better look at the guy that seemingly defined the role, defined the character. And I watched Dr. No, I watched Diamonds Are Forever, Never Say Never Again, which I know is not a canon Bond film, but they had to. It's technically a Bond film, just not a. It's the bastard, black sheep of the Bond films. Thunderball, and which I think was the most ambitious Bond film, maybe, just because of the storyline. Octopussy, which I think was the first Bond film I may have seen, just because my dad was watching it and I remember parts of it.
I love the opening scene.
Oh yeah,
of that movie.
The disguise.
I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, the disguise, the little airplane. Yeah, I love it.
And the horse that flips up, and it's the airplane, and he just shoots out and blows up the entire warehouse.
Yeah, it looks so real too. That warehouse scene, or hangar scene.
He always had the gadgets, Roger Moore. He had the gadgets. He had the lines and
the alligator
and the comedy. Yeah, the alligator.
Yeah,
I felt like he was definitely the most charming, and you can see that in his films, and that's why I think Austin Powers, the franchise, chose to really take most of their material from him because, just his antics. We'll get into that later. I know that, but after that, I decided I want to watch another Pierce Brosnan one, so I watched Tomorrow Never Dies. And I watched Quantum of Solace, which I enjoyed. Daniel Craig Bond, and it's about all the movies I watched this week.
Didn't you watch You Only Live Twice?
That's right. You Only Live Twice. Where they I think the
that's the one with the ninjas.
That's the one with the ninjas, and it's the one where the girl in the beginning is actually in this film that we're going to talk about today. She's the one that flips the bed up on him, and he gets shot up while he's... Yeah. Or is that Diamonds Are
Are you talking
Forever?
about the character?
Yeah, the character. The actor.
Oh.
Not the character, but the actor. Actress. Yeah. Sorry, actress.
Yeah. And, to add to that, the very first Bond movie that I ever watched was You Only Live Twice. And, watching it later, and then I see the Scotsman trying to pass himself off as Japanese. Kind of rubs me the wrong way a bit, It's kind of weird. I'm like, whatever, just move along, right? But I love it. It's like one of my favorite... I think it's my favorite Connery. And I didn't watch GoldenEye until later on. And but I enjoyed GoldenEye. I mean, not GoldenEye, but what's it? Goldfinger.
Oh yeah, Goldfinger.
Yeah, but I still like You Only Live Twice more because it's so ambitious and friggin' ninjas versus soldiers. I mean, you can't beat that in the secret hollowed-out volcano.
Yes,
that's so cool. That's such a Bond base. Bond villain base if you haven't heard one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Super villain base that sets up camp in the hollow volcano, and then the villain also has a pool of piranhas, I guess. They never show what was in that water.
Yeah, I think it's piranhas, and it's spoofed in the Austin Powers films as sea bass, heavily mutated sea bass.
Right. Yeah. But Thunderball, I don't know, that underwater battle scene, did you think it was a little drawn out, or was it paced okay? Or
I guess it was okay. It just, that film, there's a lot of good things about Thunderball. You have all the double O's in one room, and that's really cool.
I don't remember that scene.
Yeah, they call in all the double O's. Because, there are some things that are pretty generic, like them procuring or stealing the nuclear missiles and trying to hide them and hold the world ransom, the whole Dr. Evil kind of thing. And, that part is, not bad, but there's a lot, like you said, the underwater stuff is kind of drawn out, and you've got the sharks that, seek into the, the signal and trying to attack Sean Connery underwater. But they, they had to do something, to follow up after Goldfinger, and why not go with the most intricate storyline? And you bring in Tom Jones to sing the opening theme. Yeah. That was always cool. And then just the jetpack at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you notice? Yeah. Did you see the story similarities between Never Say Never, the bootleg Bond movie, with Thunderball? Similar story beats and stuff.
The health spawn most notably, but he spends so much time at the health spa this time versus the last time. The last time he's only there for a little bit, and then someone turns up his back machine that makes it look like he's super fast humping this machine, and the spa lady comes in and turns it off, and she's like, "Oh no, don't tell anybody. Will you stay quiet about this?" And he's like, "My silence has a price." And he takes her into the other room, and
old man.
And this one, he gets into a fight with a dude and Never Say Never Again. That's like this big old burly dude, and he hits him in the face with his glass. And it's funny because he's like, "Oh, what was in this flask?" And it said James Bond's urine sample. And he hits the guy in the face with his own pee.
Oh,
The video game is
and
really
Never
cool.
Say Never, right? Yeah.
And Never Say Never Again. Yeah. I feel like the villain was a good villain, just maybe a part of not the best script. But that film was very successful. That film and Octopussy came out the same year. Both of them won. Both of them were very successful and similar audience scores and stuff. So I think Octopussy is probably better. Never Say Never
Better
Again is
stunts.
very, very cheap. Oh yeah, better stunts on that one.
The mid-air on the airplane fight scene.
Oh
that's I still think that holds up pretty well. Hanging on to your dear life on that airplane. So,
I wonder if he probably didn't do that stunt. I don't think so. Because Roger Moore wasn't known for doing his own stunts.
No, not at all.
He would do his own love scenes, though.
Right, I'm sure. Did you play any games?
More Soul Calibur 6. I've been playing Soul Calibur 6. And then Destiny 2 had the update for Beyond Light. And I just played the free version. Because I just don't know if, where Destiny's going to go. And I've the storyline that I really liked in Destiny is kind of over with. So I'm kind of waiting to see if something a similar storyline comes out. The Nathan Fillion's character got killed off, and that's the cool storyline. That's like you're kind of avenging the character that he voiced, and you avenge him, and then now they've got all these random reboots of new characters and stuff. It's not the same, but that's kind of what I played.
Yeah. Well, my download this, it was election week or so last week, and to get my mind off it, I chose the worst show to start continuing on, and it was The West Wing.
Nice.
So I watched 2 episodes of that, got mentally exhausted by all the quippy dialogue, so I moved on from that, and then I think I watched the documentary. What was it? I can't remember. What's the documentary? I should have wrote it down.
Old age setting in.
Huh? Yeah, I know. But fuck all that. I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And man,
nice.
Oh, that's such a fun game. And the amount of drama I had with this game, not the game itself, but getting to play it was an ordeal. So I ordered it on Epic Game Store to play it on PC because I wanted, no loading times, none of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I found out that my video card was too weak for it. It needed at least 4 gigabyte video card, and I only had a 2 gigabyte card, right?
Man.
I'm like, damn it. So I emailed Epic Store, and they're like, okay, well, you played 2 hours of it, so we can't really refund you. It's like, please, I beg you. I'll deep throat someone over there. Get me a refill. And I didn't have to do all that sexual favors, but they did give me a refund. And so I took that money and spent it on the PS4 version, which turned out to look a lot better on the PS4 than the PC, which I'm like, okay, whatever. But the loading time was something I had to put up with, but that's okay. Then I found out that if I ever got a PS5, the copy I bought is easily upgradable for free. So I can get updated graphics and stuff if I ever got a PS5, which came out this week also. So I'm enjoying the game. I'm playing it, raiding villages, being a complete Viking asshole. Should be
a Viking asshole.
Stealing from churches. Haven't kidnapped any women or anything like that, but you know, dude, I can't believe it. I think this is the first game I ever played where you have a mace. You know,
really,
mace with a dangling chain on the end with a huge spike ball.
That's cool.
And I'm beating people to death, caving in their skulls, and you know, he's like bludgeoning people.
Sounds like a lot of anger here.
I know. Well, if you stare at videos all day, surveillance videos all day, then you want some kind of outlet.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
sure.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. If you have any disk drive space left, Matt, to get it, I highly recommend you to get it. But other than that, that's my download this. And then go ahead, Mark.
I finished The Boys season 2.
Yeah.
Homelander is a fucked up fuck.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. And poor Butcher. That's my review. Basically, it's like, so I'll see where they go with it in season 3. But Homelander. You know, the show is extremely violent, extremely over the top, but it's also very well written. Yeah. That keeps you intrigued, despite some of the weirdnesses of it. It's definitely a complete 180 from what Marvel and DC does with their superheroes, obviously, because it's way much more adult. But good stuff. I mean, I guess I need something new to watch to pass the time.
I'm gonna check out Chernobyl. I'm gonna want to check that.
Yeah, I need to watch. I need to watch Watchmen on HBO Max.
Watchmen also. I heard that is a fantastic.
Yeah,
show.
I want to watch that, and I might watch Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime also. Give that a shot.
I heard that there was a character on The Boys that, you know, at first you think has very good intentions in the show. Who's a politician, but it turns out to be an asshole. You know, is that true?
Yeah, it's a she.
There's a twist. There's a twist at the end of the season finale that.
Yeah.
Even I admit it got me. I did not see that coming.
Yeah. They're like, oh, cool, a beacon of hope in this show, and then it turns out to be an asshole. It's like, oh, well, everyone's an asshole in this. Like, might as well.
Except Huey. I think Huey's the only. Huey's the only character that's not an asshole. He's just sort of stuck in it all.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But yeah, that was the big twist at the end of season 2, and I actually was genuinely shocked. I was like, wow, okay, I didn't see that coming. Because they did a good job of hiding the clues.
I like that Iceman came and joined the cast and was basically Pyro.
Really?
Sort of.
Flipped his powers, yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, it's Friday when we record, and Mandalorian episode 3 of season 2 is out. So this is the point where we tell you, if you don't want to hear spoilers, skip forward about 5 or 6 minutes, because we always usually talk spoilers. And after last week's kind of filler episode, this one was fucking good. That's all.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna knock your girl though a little bit. Long Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
her acting's a little left to be desired. I felt like she was trying to be a wrestler on screen, the way she delivered her lines. And I'm like, it could have been better. But I'm not going to knock her too hard. But
I can't believe... but finish your thoughts.
I was going to say, we got to see our first cartoon character come to life in Katie Sackhoff playing Bo-Katan, which was really badass.
Yeah.
Fill me in on the background on that.
A huge fucking name drop in this episode. She was the heir to Mandalore, essentially. And she had the Darksaber at one point. And that's why she eludes...
in Rebels, right?
Right, yeah, in Rebels. In Clone Wars, she gets the Darksaber. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she alludes, and they allude to that he has something I have to get back. So obviously...
Who voiced her? Who voiced her in the animated
I don't remember
show?
who did it.
Wasn't it Darth Maul? Didn't Darth Maul team up with First Watch?
No, he was asking who voiced her.
Oh,
I don't remember who voiced... I don't think Katie Sackhoff voiced Bo-Katan in the cartoon.
It has to be. It has to be Katie Sackhoff.
Katie Sackhoff voiced Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
She voiced her and played her. That was the big hype. Now Ahsoka, I'm not sure who voiced Ahsoka.
Yeah, Melissa someone.
Okay. But she did voice Bo-Katan.
Let's see, Bo-Katan. Yeah, voiced by Katie Sackhoff in Clone Wars. And so she voiced the character in the animated show, and she played the live action version. How cool is that?
Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool episode. The child had some funny moments, Baby Yoda.
Oh yeah.
Man, but they keep trying to torture that poor kid. I genuinely laughed
on its face.
Where his food attacked him. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. Quit playing with your food.
We'll talk about the huge name drop in a second, but what did you guys think about the episode?
It was definitely a step up for me personally. For the action, the bringing in the extended universe characters, finally making them official. I know that the characters in Clone Wars and Rebels were considered canon, but to me, they're not canon until they're live action.
It connects the universes,
yeah. And I hate to put them on a different tier below live action, but man, if you don't see them live action, it's not really canon, until you see them.
Right.
So, yeah, it was definitely nice to see Katie Sackhoff doing the acting the character, as well as having the legacy of voicing the character from the TV shows, animated TV shows, which is a nice touch. And the action was good. A lot of good Mandalorian action versus stormtroopers, and a little cameo from Moff Gideon, and people were complaining about the commander and Moff Gideon having American accents instead of English accents.
Oh,
yeah, I know. So
the raid on the ship was really cool.
Yeah, the raid on the ship was pretty cool.
And I continue to get blown away by the special effects on this show are absolutely stunning for a television show.
Yeah,
it's like watching a movie every week.
Mm-hmm. I like whenever they're like, "How many are there?" There's like 10. It's like, we're showing 4. It's like, oh crap, they're Mandalorian, and then and then we've got them trapped in the cargo hold control. You have them trapped where? In the cargo hold control.
Yeah. Then I liked how they kind of clarified the Mandalorian
mythology
society a bit. Yeah, where they according to Bo-Katan, she's part of the mainstream Mandalorians, while what's it, the
Din Djarin.
our main Mandalorian is actually part of Zealots.
Trying to go back to the old ways.
All the old ways.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Very traditional. Very traditional, very orthodox way of being a Mandalorian. So, but which is a nice little dimension to the society itself. Sure. So I really enjoyed that aspect and clarification, because remember in the first season people were complaining, it's like, well, if these Mandalorians don't have them take off their mask, how come they kept showing it in the animated TV shows? That was a big canon complaint of the canon, but it's a good thing they clarified it, and pretty cool watching all the jetpacks. Man, I want those jetpacks.
I like the nod to A New Hope. You altered the deal.
No, that was Empire.
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, that's right. That was Bespin. My bad.
Yeah.
But
this is the way. I love how she turned it on him.
Oh yeah,
this is the way.
It was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. She
Jurassic Park
directed
episode last season, and now she came back for another episode.
Big improvement too, I have to say, because her first direction was the Village,
the Magnificent Seven episode.
Yeah, and that was kind of by the numbers. Direction, but this one, definitely, it's a big improvement for Bryce as a director. As far as story pacing and
her action sequences were excellent.
Yeah, her action sequences were very good, easy to follow. Yeah, so I give it an A. This episode's an A.
Yes,
definitely a solid episode, and that name drop, that she's sending him to a planet where Ahsoka's at. I mean, there's been a lot of rumors about Rosario Dawson playing Ahsoka, but nothing concrete, nothing confirmed. This still doesn't completely confirm it, but we're getting closer to having a live action Ahsoka. So,
yeah,
that's pretty cool. So we'll see where it goes. They'll probably tease us for a few weeks, I would imagine.
They'll probably give us another filler episode, and then the actual quest episode. After that. So.
Oh yeah, they're going to make our collector nerd boners wait a little bit longer. All right. Well, let's get into today's feature film. As we look back, for some reason I thought this movie came out in 2005 and it was the 50th anniversary, but this was actually a 2006 release. But oh well. Sometimes I make mistakes.
Tisk. So we should have done Octopussy.
But so we're going to go back. We're looking back at Daniel Craig's debut as James Bond. And also, we had kind of put this on the list too, because we were hoping movie theaters were back open by then and we might be going to see No Time to Die, but we have to wait a little bit longer. So we're going to talk Casino Royale. Who wants to give it a summary?
I did it last week, so...
Yeah, I'll do it.
Just don't have to tell the whole plot, Matt. It's a summary.
Yeah. So in this, we basically get an origin story of Daniel Craig getting his 00 status at the beginning, getting his 2 kills, as is mandated in the novel. So as it said, so it is written and acted by Daniel Craig. And find out that there is a bomb maker that is tied to Lachief, and he is going to try and blow up a plane and take this money that he has gotten from a terrorist so that he can get extra money instead of investing it like he's supposed to. Well, Bond foils that plan, and now the chief has to set up this high-stakes poker game, which Bond has been mandated and to go in and play poker against the chief because he's the best poker player of the MI6, and he goes in there. The American CIA is involved too. They're fronting up the money, so he has to win, or else the chief gets the money, and they've directly funded terrorism. So Lachief's under high pressure to win. He ends up losing, and we get notion to this other underground organization, which Mr. White is connected to. Vesper is portrayed by Eva Greene in there. She's the Bond girl in this film, arguably probably one of the best Bond girls. She's in charge of making sure that the money is taken care of, and with no regard to Bond. But that changes at the end because looks like there was some, switchery afoot. She may have sold the secrets and in spare of James Bond's life, so that Mr. White and his organization can get the money. And that's kind of how it ends, with Bond very kind of broken about losing Vesper during this whole thing with the money and
$115 million. I don't know which one I'd be broken more over.
Yeah. At first, it seemed like he was broken more about the money. He was like, he's like, we'll kill her. And he's like, allow me. But yeah, that's probably a quick way of summing it up. I didn't want to spend too long because I know sometimes I can start unveiling the plots, but there's a lot of things to get into here because this is really an origin story. The only person that came from the previous films was Judi Dench and Judi Dench, because she's just awesome. Some people are like, "Oh, how come Judi Dench is in here again? It's supposed to be a reboot. If this is a reboot, why is she in here?" It's because she's awesome. She's really good at her portrayal of them. And at first, Daniel Craig, a lot of people didn't want Daniel Craig to be in this role. They were making fun of him on the internet, calling him James Blonde, because there had never been a blonde James Bond. And he ended up surprising a lot of people. He's brutal.
Did people forget about Roger Moore? Is when people were saying that? People were
I guess
fucking
so.
Dumb.
Yeah, I guess because he was more like a dirty blonde, I guess. But he was still kind of blonde. Yeah.
That's the most British outrage I've ever heard.
Yeah. British outrage.
Yeah.
But this is a Bond that...
It's raw.
He is brutal, man. This guy, he's like Timothy Dalton, but even more brutal. And he's got all this emotion, man. Those kills that he does, it tears him apart. And he's got a heart, man. Vesper, she's like broken up after that fight with the terrorists that are trying to basically strangle a chief, saying basically you need to win this money back. And he's in the shower just kind of holding her, he's just different, man. He's a very complete Bond. Whenever you just kind of look at the character and what you expect that character to be: smooth with women, witty, brutal, the look. He didn't have the gadgets. Not his fault, but he's got some stuff. He's got the defibrillator.
He gets them in the later Craig films, yeah.
Yeah. But I think, just the him having this ego and this recklessness about him just kind of really helps, define his character and makes him unique and different from all the other Bonds as we've seen before him. Definitely has better and smoother pickup lines than the previous movie whenever Pierce Brosnan's trying to pick up Halle Berry.
That was one of the worst Bond movies, to be quite honest.
The CGI, man.
Terrible.
Horrible, man.
Doesn't hold up. No.
It's just, and then you have the free running. It's, that the free running scene that
parkour.
Follows. Yeah, the parkour. The guy that he's chasing invented parkour. I didn't realize that. And whenever he's caught, this guy has such a big ego that he doesn't want to get caught. He kills the guy after he says, "Don't kill him. We need him alive." He kills the guy and blows up a propane tank, even though he probably could have done this smoothly. His ego, and it really shows there. He just doesn't want to get caught. He doesn't want to lose. So
it's funny because
guys up.
When I first saw Casino Royale in theaters, that scene made me realize right away, okay, I'm not watching the Bond I grew up with. Because like you said, the original Bonds would have found some smooth way to get out of that. But at the same time, I was like, wow, that's pretty badass. I like the fact that this movie is more raw. It's a Bond that makes mistakes, but yet he somehow finds a way to get out of them. Very much akin to Batman Begins, which came out just a few months before this. You saw a raw Batman, and this you see a raw James Bond who's learning how to be Bond. And this movie, it's not a perfect movie because the first hour and a half of this film is so good. It's quick pace. It builds this intensity during the. I mean, how intense can a poker scene be? And this film does a good job all the way to when he gets captured and he's getting his balls crushed and all that. Then all of a sudden, my biggest beef with this movie is the last 40 minutes are a little rushed. I feel like they did all this stuff to build everything.
Pretty fast.
They fall in love fast, and all of a sudden, Mr. White's organization's coming after him, and the movie's over. And and I know Quantum of Solace starts off right where this one left off, but I felt like that's my only beef with Casino Royale. So the last 40 minutes just felt a little rushed.
And it turns into a soap opera.
A little bit.
You have your armor on, Bond. You have your armor on. He's like, no, I don't. You've stripped it from me, you dirty hooker. Now let's have sex.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
How about you, Long? What is your what do you think of this film? When you first saw it? It's all right.
It's all right. It's all right.
I think.
No. I think.
You go.
Well, let me answer your question.
Yeah,
Dang.
Yeah.
Why are you always competing with me?
I know.
No.
We're on some wavelength this week, Long. We're on some wavelength.
That seems to be. No, I'm just joking. I was like, that's the theme of the week. Why are you always competing with me?
Is there a Mexican-Asian war going on?
Yeah.
No. No. I have to agree with y'all. The first 2/3 of the movie was great. I was amazed and in disbelief about the parkour chase scene sequence. I thought, wait, the way that guy is moving, is that CGI? That's so unreal. The way he's just effortlessly just going through all these obstacles, and nonstop.
And Craig did a lot of it himself too because he wanted to look real.
Yeah. I love how in that chase sequence, the perp, he smoothly leapt through a small crevice. Right. And then Craig just ran right through the wall. He didn't even bother doing it. He just ran right through the wall like a bull, the sheetrock. Yeah. And the airport scene was amazing too. I was blown away by that.
Yeah.
It's such a simple concept, but done very well. A lot of tension in that scene. It's high speed ish, for an airport car chase sequence. But the action sequences in the first 2/3 of this movie, the poker scene, the Texas Hold'em, a lot of people weren't quite clear about the rules of the game, at least outside the U.S. They was like, how does this game work? This Texas Hold'em. But it was easy for even folks who are not familiar with that poker style, to follow. But it's the movie overall was good, but I just have to say that the last half hour felt rushed, and I was a little pissed off at the ending too, because the ending was like James Bond. It's like, I get it, it's a reboot, but all the way to the end of the movie, and then he does the. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's different.
Because he uses it in a few places. Like when they go to check in at the hotel, he uses his ego again, and he's like, "The name's Bond, James Bond." He's like,
yeah, but not in the way where it's like
the classic,
right?
Declaration type way.
We also don't have the gun barrel at the beginning. It starts off in black and white, like you think you're watching another Connery Bond, and you've been zapped into the past again.
And, so you enjoyed Quantum of Solace? I heard a lot of people didn't like that one.
I thought it was okay.
Well, I like it. I think Quantum of Solace plays better now that Skyfall and Spectre are out, because they, you weren't sure where they were going with it, and they didn't do a great job of tying the Quantum organization together with Spectre, but you kind of figure out that it's all one organization,
Yeah.
And Quantum of Solace starts out really well. It's another movie that kind of falls apart in the last 30 minutes,
Yeah.
But
The cool thing about that one
I
is
like
Bond
it,
Bond is always getting attacked, even by people that are supposed to be his allies. So it's like, you have that tension built up because everyone around him is dying. He's getting people killed, and he doesn't know who to trust.
Yeah.
And then at the end, there's this tension to save the girl that is with him, and not let her die. But yeah, I mean, it's I think it's solid.
You've never seen it long?
Quantum, I've watched it, but I kept falling asleep. I keep trying to watch it, but I don't know. It just didn't hold my attention as well.
I mean, it's not as good as Casino Royale or Skyfall, but it's still, pretty decent. I mean, out of the Craig films, I think Skyfall's the best. I mean, Skyfall's not just a great Bond film. It's a really great film. Like Skyfall, it's like a really great film. Where Casino Royale is a really good film. And I like Casino Royale quite a bit. I still think it holds up well. The tension up to the poker scene is great. You still feel bad for Bond when Vesper dies, even if the scenes felt a little rushed. I like the ending of it where it was kind of to be continued, because I felt at the time they were doing something different with Bond. Like every Bond film was kind of its own story. I like the fact that this was a new franchise and they were going to have it be a continuity with the story. So I thought that was cool.
I like how he gets his Aston Martin DB5 in this one. They have a reason why he gets it. He wins it from the person he's following, and he sleeps with his wife, just like Roger Moore used to do. He sleeps with the bad guy's girl, So I feel like he's a good mix of a lot of Bonds that have come before him. You see the Timothy Dalton, you see the Sean Connery. If you're a guy, you want to be like him. If you're a woman, you want to be with him. So he did a really good job stepping onto the scene and being Bond.
Well, Craig read like the first 8 novels. He went back and watched like a couple of Connery films, a couple more films. He did his homework to make sure, because like he was young when he took on this role, and he was really nervous.
Yeah.
And he wanted to make sure he did it right because he knew how important it was to a lot of people, And he's kind of a dick about it now, saying I'll slit my wrist if I make another film. But at the time, though, he really wanted to do a good job. And I think he does do a good job. I think Casino Royale was a good start for him as Bond. And I think he only got better as he went along. And too bad we could have kept Eva Greene around for another film.
Well, we did keep another character that keeps popping up, at least in Quantum of Solace, and that's Felix Leiter's character, portrayed by Jeffrey Wright, who's a longtime ally of Bond throughout the films.
He's supposed to be. I think he's back in No Time to Die. Yeah,
that's good. I like his character. He doesn't have like huge parts, but he plays it well.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he was a good part, and Mads Mikkelsen was excellent as Lashif. The scene where he's interrogating Bond is fantastic. And funny too. You're gonna die.
I figured. Yeah, I figured Matt would be the one that will be singing praises about that scene in this feature, but no, I guess Mark, you're doing the.
It's an excellent interrogation scene, and
you have a beautiful body. What a waste!
And what's so strange is that when I was watching this the first time in theaters, I remember thinking that it's going to come down to Bond versus Mads Mikkelsen, and 5 minutes after that scene happens, Mikkelsen's dead. You're like, whoa, wait, what just happened? It's like because the other organization shows up. And it kind of throws you for a loop because you think Lashif is the main bad guy in this film. And all of a sudden, he's dead before the climax of the film ever occurs.
Yeah. So, I like Casino Royale because it was a reboot, and it's kind of funny how that worked out because there was a original 1962 Bond movie before the whole
with Woody
Broccoli
Allen
production. Yeah, with David Nevin as Bond.
Yeah, everyone got to play Bond, like
it's like
Bond
a
by
spoof
committee.
Movie.
Yeah. It was more of a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
wasn't that Jimmy Bond that they had in there?
No, it was James Bond.
Okay, because I know there was one where they tried to make an American Bond, quote unquote, and they called him Jimmy Bond, and I forget if that was the film with it, but I think it was Casino Royale was spoofed like maybe twice.
Yeah, but so this is pretty important in Bond films for rebooting. I mean, this is 9/11, and then plus the Bourne Identity movies were out.
Yeah.
So, and I think that had some influence on how Bond was, going to go in the middle 2000s, and then Skyfall, well, Quantum of Solace, and then Skyfall, and then Spectre. And to me, Spectre felt like kind of a callback to From Russia with Love. Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And then,
but
we didn't even talk about the fact that this is directed by Martin Campbell, who also directed GoldenEye. And, Martin Campbell, I think he's a really good action director. It's amazing he hasn't done more films. He did the Green Lantern film, and he said that Warner Brothers took that film from him and they cut it, and that's why Green Lantern wasn't as good as it could have been. And you watch Casino Royale, and you start to believe that. I think you believe Martin Campbell because this guy can make a better film than the Green Lantern film that was out there. Because I think his direction in Casino Royale is very good. But overall, I give this film a solid A. I think it's a really good restart for the Bond films. I think Craig is excellent in it. Everyone's really good in this. That's the thing about this Bond film. Oh yeah, Chris Cornell did the song for this. Yeah. I think that we were starting to get back to cheesy with the Pierce Brosnan films, and this movie came back around to how Bond made Bond more serious and very well acted Bond film too.
Yeah, definitely gritty.
Yes, I give it an A as well. Completely agree with Mark.
I have to go with a B+ personally.
Oh,
with this one. I had my issues with the last third of it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
No, that's fair. A B+ isn't a bad grade.
No, not at all. No. Okay, A-. How's that?
A-.
Torn my emotions long.
No, I felt peer pressure.
Pressured.
So let's get the weekly top 5 in here. Surprise, surprise! It's Bond related.
There was some drama surrounding this top 5.
Yes.
By the way.
Baby mama drama.
Yeah.
It's not so much a top 5 as we're going to rank the Bond actors from 5. Even though there were 6 Bond actors, we're going to pick our favorite 5. So, Matt,
who wants to start?
You can start.
Yeah, I'll start. I haven't started in a while. Number 5, I have got the more humor and campy version of Bond is as Roger Moore. Roger Moore is my number 5. That doesn't mean he's bad, but I felt like he's one of the more charming.
Right there, let's be fair. None of these guys are bad.
Yeah, and that's I just wanted to clarify. It's like not because I think he's bad. It's like picking who your favorite parent is. Really, that's kind of what this list is.
Yeah, or your
favorite uncle,
or your favorite Star Wars character, whatever.
Yeah. So I've got Roger Moore.
My number 5 is Timothy Dalton. Even though he only had 2 movies under his belt, Living Daylights was a pretty solid movie, and License to Kill doesn't hold up as well. But I do appreciate it for trying to be a little.
It's ultra violent.
Yeah.
Bond's killing fucking everybody in that movie.
Yeah. sharks
Yeah.
eating people alive.
Yes.
Yes.
I have Dalton in number 5 as well. And kind of the same reason. I felt like we just didn't get to know him long enough. But yet, I thought he was a pretty good Bond. Same reason as you. Living Daylights is pretty good, and License to Kill is okay, But I guess, if I remember right, he kind of clashed with the studio, and so he wasn't welcomed back for a third film. So
yeah,
it is what it is. Because they started moving forward with GoldenEye with him in the role until they end up firing him. So,
yeah, they were trying to get Brosnan from Remington Steele.
Yeah,
it's the only reason why they went with Dalton in the first place.
Right.
Because,
at that time,
Remington Steele got renewed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dick move on the network's part.
Yep.
Yeah. So, number
Same
4
thing happened. Yeah, go ahead.
I've got the what the women call the tall, dark, and handsome Bond, and that is Pierce Brosnan as number 4. I feel like he's kind of a mix of a few Bonds. I felt like he's very convincing, and he's who I grew up with. And for the most part, except for that last outing in his 4th film, he did some really good Bond films, especially him in 006, and that acting between him and Sean Bean. You just really got the feel that, hey, this is a Bond. This is a guy that looks the part, he acts the part, and he's believable in the role. So Pierce Brosnan, number 4.
My number 4 is actually Daniel Craig. And I don't know. I mean, he's cool and all. His movies are solid, but I just don't really connect with this Bond as well. I don't know. Maybe it's my nostalgia speaking, overpowering my bias a little bit. Even though I enjoyed Skyfall and Casino Royale, Spectre, I wanted it to be good, but it didn't quite live up to what Skyfall left behind. And Quantum of Solace, well, I said earlier, I kept falling asleep during that movie. So, yeah, that's my number 4, Daniel Craig. How about you, Mark?
Excuse me. At number 4, I have Pierce Brosnan also. I don't know if I agree with him much as Matt that he made several good Bond movies. I think maybe he made 2 good Bond movies. I think GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies. World Is Not Enough is pretty with the guy who can't feel anything. It's weird.
I blame the writing.
Denise Richards is terrible in the movie. She's just a pretty face. Of course, we already know Die Another Day is not that great.
Terrible. Yeah.
But I think Bronson started out well, and they just wanted him to get cheesier and cheesier. But so, like you say, you blame the writers for what he had to work with. Number 3, Matt.
Yeah, number 3, I've got Timothy Dalton. Based on his acting, his very believable fights, and then his kills. I felt like his kills reflect that of what we're seeing today, and I think he was just ahead of his time, and that audiences maybe just didn't warm up to that style just yet. We went from Moore's campiness to Dalton's just brutalness. When compared to Moore, and I think maybe that was another driving factor in addition to his quarrels with the company. Yeah.
My number 3 is kind of a tie. I know y'all love ties.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually Pierce Brosnan and actually George Lazenby.
Really?
Yeah, because I watched On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and I gave it a fair viewing, and man, that Bond movie really holds up, and I think it aged pretty well too.
His action scenes are good.
The action scenes are good, but there's actual character development in this movie. What's her name? Emma Peel.
Oh yeah.
What's her name? She's a really good Bond girl too, and I really like how some of the events in this movie still affects some subsequent Bond movies. him getting married at the end of the movie still affected Bond, and at least in the classic continuity, the whatever continuity there was, So, but yeah, I also really enjoyed Michelle Yeoh being in the Bond movie in Tomorrow Never Dies with Pierce Brosnan. She's definitely one of the highlights. The classic Bond formula, and GoldenEye, of course, the tank scene.
Oh yeah,
that's very unique. Tank chase sequence, chasing a car. But yeah, two solid efforts from Pierce Brosnan, and one and done George Lazenby. So,
I think they should have given George some more time to develop in that role. I think he could have been. I think he could have been good, but they decided to move on.
Have you guys seen On Her Majesty's Secret Service yet?
It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah.
It's been a while. I just remember a lot of punching. There's a lot of punching, bare fist stuff.
The cinematography at that time is very unique too, and even that should be kind of give another viewing because it's different from a typical Bond movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my number 3.
My number 3 is Roger Moore. I kind of grew up with a little bit of Roger Moore plus a little bit of Pierce Brosnan, but I always remember Moore in the fight with Jaws, of course, for The Spy Who Loved Me, and remember him being a little bit more of a silly James Bond, but yet also serious action. And Moore did a good job of what he had to work with. The studio, wanted a little bit more kind of campy films, and he did a good job at it. And he was a good James Bond too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 2
for me, I've got Daniel Craig. His acting, his fights, he's believable as a killer. You believe his charms. He shows his struggles as himself, and he has his own faults, and he loses, and that helps develop, his motives going on, and you can see that in the writing, you can see it in his acting, and I feel like he's one of the more complete Bonds as a whole.
Yep. My number 2 is Sean Connery, the first Bond, and he definitely defined the role of Bond on screen. But I do like. He was the first Bond I ever knew too. You Only Live Twice, and I talked about it a little bit earlier with Matt earlier in the show. So, without going into too much detail, my mom still loves him. Every Bond afterwards sucks to her, except for Roger Moore, who's a close second for her. But she won't let go of Sean Connery, man. That's my number 2.
I have
good reason.
I have Connery at number 2 as well. This is a tough one. I could have put him at number 1, but Connery, as a Bond, he's the original. All the classic Bond quotes and lines were all developed under him. He set the standard for what James Bond should be. Even if that standard had to be changed a little bit over the years because of social changes and things like that. But Connery is still the original. I think if you're a young man, you probably want to be like Sean Connery at one point in your life. Like, oh, I'm going to be dashing and good looking and go get all the women.
Yep.
And that's just the way it was. And but yeah, without Sean Connery, we don't have James Bond.
Yeah, a note to your
because I'm guessing
some of his films.
He's your number 1, right, Matt? So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Whenever you said we're talking about some of his dialogue that may have not been appropriate for now, it just reminded me of Goldfinger. Whenever the girl he's by the pool,
and Pussy Galore,
and Felix Leiter comes up, and he's like, oh, hey, we need to talk, and he's like, I need you to go. And she's like, why? He goes, men are talking. And then he turns around and smacks her butt. Get out of here.
Is it Dr. No or Goldfinger which one has Pussy Galore? And he walks up and she's like, my name is Pussy Galore. And he's like,
Goldfinger.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is. Yes. My number one is Sean Connery. I think, man, when you watch Dr. No, everything you need to know about Sean Connery is right there.
Oh, sure.
He's in a suit, smoking a cigarette. He's playing cards. He gets the woman. He's just cool as can be. He can be brutal if he needs to be. He's got the charm, the looks, everything.
Oh.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, my number one is Roger Moore, of course. He's such a, I don't know. He's the most charming Bond of them. The most lighthearted. A lot of his movies are pretty fun to watch as well. I grew up on that. I think the first Bond movie I saw in the theaters was his last movie, which sucked. But his last movie was A View to a Kill. You know, it had its moments, but yeah, that was the first Bond movie I watched in the theaters. But my favorite Moore movie was Spy Who Loved Me, and then Octopussy, and then
was good.
Yeah, and then his first outing. What was it called? The one with the voodoo.
For your eyes only, right? Was it that first?
No, Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die. Yeah, that's right.
Live and Let Die.
Yeah. I didn't like Man with the Golden Gun that much. It was a bit off kilter for me. And Moonraker, you know, I had my preconceptions walking into that. I thought I would hate it, but no, I ended up liking that movie a lot. Yeah. Moonraker is a really good movie, solid movie.
Doesn't he technically die in that film, like by a shuttle, like landing on him?
Technically, but
I think so.
He's Bond.
Yeah, he never dies.
Right.
No one can
also,
raise an. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and also he's contributed so much for, children worldwide, as a UN ambassador for UNICEF, and a lot of humanitarian causes. But For Your Eyes Only was one of the few times where he could be ruthless too, and he could be vengeful.
Yeah, when he throws that woman on the bed and it's like, I'll break your arm if you don't talk, basically.
Kinda, but no, it's a scene where the dude was in the car hanging from the cliff.
Oh, yeah.
And then he threw a pin into the car and kicked him down the cliff.
Oh, yeah.
The dude still in the car.
I think it was hard for him to be mean.
Yeah.
I felt like it just wasn't in him. He was the the campy guy, which we all love. We all love a lot of those movies. Man with the Golden Gun. It's funny that I love playing with
things.
Oh, the third nipple, and the gun was made out of like multiple different parts. They just spray painted it gold, and then you've got the wax figure of Roger Moore in the beginning, and he's like boo 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 shooting off his fingers.
I got stories about that where the Nintendo 64 version of GoldenEye.
Yeah,
there was a multiplayer, player versus player, and then anyone who got the Golden Gun was freaking god because it was a one shot.
Yep.
So it was a scramble for that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, Roger Moore, my number one. How about you, Mark?
It might be a controversial choice, but like I said, I could have put Connery by. I put Craig at one. I've really liked what Craig has done with the role. Maybe it's part of me being a fan of Asian cinema and grittier heroes. I really liked Craig a lot after Skyfall, and I agree with you, Spectre. I was expecting it to be better, and it fell a little short. Even though the last 30, 40 minutes of Spectre are really good, but it's a very slow starting out. Really looking forward to No Time to Die. I don't know. I like what Craig has done with the role. I wish that they could have done more than 5 films in 15 years, but some of that was Craig holding out and not wanting to do a movie every 2 years, but oh well, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of funny where Spectre, the first half was meh.
Yeah.
And then right from the train scene all the way towards the last half, it gets pretty good.
Yeah, it gets really good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Christoph Waltz is an excellent bad guy. But yeah, I don't know. Craig has really won me over in the role, in the last 15 years, and I like what he's done with it.
Yeah, and I like the idea of Spectre being back in the Bond mythos too.
Yeah, for sure.
Personally, yeah.
Special executive, something of extortion and something.
Let's do some news. There's not a whole lot of news.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen is going to develop a Darkwing Duck reboot for Disney Plus. You guys fans of Darkwing Duck back when it was on?
Let's get
I liked
dangerous.
it. I loved it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And you seem to hear Seth Rogen's name get thrown around on a lot of projects over the last few years, but when you hear Disney, this feels like a project that might actually happen. Disney's no fools. They know they've got all these IPs out there that they can make money off of. So, and Darkwing Duck was very popular. So we'll see what happens with that. Star-Lord Chris Pratt is going to be in Thor: God and Thunder. Nice. So we're getting we have no more Captain America and Iron Man, so we've got to utilize these other heroes for their cameos and stuff as the Marvel Cinematic Universe continues on, whatever that may be. As of now, May, we get Black Widow. So hopefully we get the MCU continued soon. Along with that, WandaVision, there's going to be no Marvel in 2020. WandaVision's going to come out January 15th on Disney Plus. So a little bit longer wait, but at least we have The Mandalorian to tie us over until then. And lastly, a rumor today that Warner Brothers is trying to decide what to do with Wonder Woman 1984, that they're mulling the idea of still letting it come out on Christmas Day in theaters, but then maybe doing an HBO Plus premium purchase a week or two after that. But it's not set in stone yet. I said HBO Plus, HBO Max, you know what I meant. So,
yeah.
So we'll see. It feels like it's a film I really want to see in theaters, but the longer this thing goes on, some of these movies are going to have to come out in other ways. Otherwise, you're going to get crowded theaters. Too many movies.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel sorry for the theaters, man.
Yeah. People losing jobs.
Really do.
Here in Houston, AMC 30 on Dunvale shut its doors. It's done. I mean, I saw Attack of the Clones there. Several movies at that theater, and it's gone.
Yeah. I saw Force Awakens there too.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the 5 times I've seen it that year. I saw a lot of times that year.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It was a good movie. So
hopefully we still have theaters for these movies to play in 6 months.
Yeah. I saw also Princess Mononoke there too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was playing the theaters limited release, and Pirates of the Caribbean: World's End.
That might be where.
Oh, nice.
I might have saw Spirited Away at AMC 30 because they, like you said, they used to show movies like that quite often. So, but yeah, that's all the news I got. Kind of continues to be a little bit slow, but let's preview next week's film as we're going to go back to 1953. I think is when it came out. I could have that, or maybe it's 56. We just did a Mars invasion movie during Halloween Horrors Month, but this is quite a different film. We're going to do the classic H.G. Wells classic, War of the Worlds.
This could be the beginning of the end for the human race. For what men first thought were meteors or the often ridiculed flying saucers are in reality the flaming vanguard of the invasion from Mars.
Looks like they're going to come out of that gully pretty soon. We'll have to rush our defenses to be ready when they do. Guard, you need plenty of reinforcements.
We'll get them. Lieutenant, look!
They slash across country like scythes, wiping out everything that's trying to get away from them.
That explains why communication is cut the moment their machines begin moving.
Montreal's blacked out. Nothing more's come through.
Same thing that happened on the Pacific coast. Anything from them yet?
No, Mr. Secretary, we've had nothing from San Francisco for over 5 hours.
The nations of the world mobilize their armed might, rushing to defend the Earth against the unknown weapons of the super race from the Red Planet. Is there nothing that can stop the Martian death machines?
Guns, tanks, bombs. They're like toys against them.
We know now that we can't beat their machines. We've got to beat them.
All over the world, human beings cower before the onslaught of these unearthly enemies, whom no one has ever seen. Panic that sweeps around the globe as the great masses of mankind flee blindly in a headlong stampede of hysteria.
This should be fun. Lots to talk about with this. Obviously, we'll have to get into the radio scare of the 1930s with Orson Welles and talk about the origins of that and the film. The original Alien Invasion classic in some ways. I'm looking forward to rewatching it. It's been a while since I've watched it. And so it'd be a fun one to talk about.
Yep.
Yeah, I've only seen the Tom Cruise one, so I've really gotta watch this one. This will be my first time watching it.
Yeah. I enjoy doing the modern films like Casino Royale, but I really enjoyed doing Forbidden Planet last year. Sometimes it's really fun to look back at these old movies and see how far the film has come. So it should be a lot of fun. Next week in the show.
I'm looking forward to it. Definitely one of the earliest movies I remember watching too, as far as alien invasion themes, and I was mesmerized by the special effects back then. So
War of the Worlds on next week's show. Until then, the RebelRadioPodcast.com. All your needs are there. Join our Patreon if you want for just $2 a month. Get an exclusive episode, and we thank you as always for listening. And until next time, this has been Mark.
This has been Matt.
This is Long, the 00 agent.
Until next time, remember, just go there.
Go there and do it.